everybody, it's Vaultboyhunter here, Sam. Gonna do some deck tech videos for Pauper, Paper Pauper to be exact. I apologize in advance, I've had a cold sinus infection thing, so I'm enjoying this Secret. Just drink some cough syrup, so hopefully that will help. So if I cough or clear my throat, I apologize in advance. But we're going to start out with Azorius kitty. I believe this is closest to the Power T build, so it includes a few of his cards, and then I tweaked it a little bit just to have some more enjoyable things to do. I've got some local people in my area interested in Pauper, so I thought I would bring some of the, maybe not the tier 1 decks from Pauper, but some of the decks I enjoy playing. So I'm going to do Azorius kitty in this video, and then I'll do 2 more videos after that. I'll have 2 other decks. Eventually, my thought would be, if I get enough people playing in the area, I'll just keep getting decks. So I'll get Boros kitty, I'll get Paupertron, I'll get maybe not mono black control because it's not really my style. Here, one sec. Because I'm just not really a mono black control player. One land spy would be fun to get, but Simian spirit guides are like $5 and lotus petals are like $4. So surprisingly enough, I really wanted to build Tron as my first deck, but almost every aspect of that is it's like a $60 deck in paper, and that's insane for a Pauper deck, especially since the prices for all the cards are pretty low online. So I went a little less expensive to start out, and then if things get rolling and I get more and more people interested, and we do like a Pauper League or a Pauper game night or something, then I'll probably have more interest in investing more. So let's start out by going through Azorius kitty. As I said, it's closer to the Power T build than to the original build, so it includes a few of his innovations, and I like it. Dan in the last Pauper Gauntlet ran 2 versions of Azorius kitty, and I think this one made it further. Just because it's a little more dynamic, and then I did some tweaks to the sideboard. I did a couple tweaks to the main deck because I like to tweak decks that exist just to make them a little bit more fun or more fluid, especially decks that haven't had an update in a while. So to start out, of course, you have your 4 core Skyfishers. A kind of a recurring theme that I've realized by looking over the decks that I enjoy to play is a lot of them feature Mr. Skyfisher, so he is a good 4 of. Following up with the core Skyfisher is 1 Drake Familiar. This is a one-off in the deck and acts in a similar function. Azorius kitty is a lot about gaining value from Spreading Seas, if you're not familiar, and Reality Acid. And I'm going to run through the creatures, and then I'll run through the non-creature spells, so we'll see what those do. Here, one more moment. I'm trying not to blatantly cough on camera. Okay, and then we have Dreamstalker, so another core Skyfisher type effect. This guy's pretty good because he's a 2-drop and he's a 1/5, so he really can shut down aggro pretty effectively. So way better than Drake Familiar. Can shut down aggro. And here's one of the Power T innovations. It's a 4 of Sunscape Familiar. Dropping the cost of the blue spells in the deck by 1 is really cool. I'll let you cast really what the deck is really all about for a lot less mana, as the white spells are kind of more support spells. And the most important white spell is the Core Skyfisher, and it only costs 2 mana to begin with. So another good anti-aggro card is Lone Missionary. Getting the 4 life when he comes into play is pretty good. He's a good Skyfisher, Dreamstalker target, so he just lets you grind out a little more value into the game. And of course, as I find, most Pauper decks that play blue want to play 4 of Happy Dragon. That's right, Mr. Muldrifter. No substitutes. This is a really strong card. Not modern playable, but definitely Pauper playable, silver black playable. So that's it for the creatures. So it's got a pretty decent creature base. As you imagine, most Pauper decks do have a lot of creatures. There's not a lot of creatureless win conditions anymore, ever since Storm was banned out of existence, basically. Next up is the card draw package, and I have it split mostly because preordains are like almost $2, and I wanted to try to keep. I got 3 decks and I got them all for under 30, and I wanted to keep it right around that price point. So what I did is I got 2 Ponders, because they're like 85 cents. I got 4 Ponders, so 2 of them went in, and then I'm playing 2 Preordains. One of them is an altered Preordain that I did, but it is still a Preordain, so I just happened to have it altered, and then the other one's just another Preordain that I had. I'm not sure if I would alter this one, but back before I started my new job, I was doing alters, just trying them out, and this is actually one of the ones that I did as I had practiced a few, and it's actually playable because I've figured out a few things, like applying thin paint is better. It doesn't warp the card. It keeps it closer to playable. And in a sleeve, it's actually it feels just exactly like this one, basically. So those are the card draw spells, but the deck generates value in other ways for extra card draw, so like Muldrifter. Next up is Journey to Nowhere, or the White Doomblade. So that's a 4-of. A little blink effect, 1 momentary blink. And then one of my additions to the deck that I thought I cut back on 1 Lone Missionary and I can't remember, 1 other marginal card from the deck to include 2 Ghostly Flickers. I just think Ghostly Flicker in this type of deck is really strong, even though I don't have any way to recur them from the yard, like no Archaeomancer or anything like that. Just getting the ability to bounce a couple more things, or do it to 2 Spreading Seas, or anything along those lines. Well, not 2 Spreading Seas, but you know what I mean. Like anything that can be flickered with it, and getting that extra value from 2 targets is pretty good. Gaining 8 life from 2 Lone Missionaries, or gaining 8 life and drawing 2 cards for flickering a Muldrifter and a Lone Missionary, gaining 4 life. I mean, that's just good value. So next up is Spreading Seas. In Burrow's Kitty, you use Ichor Wellsprings and Prophetic Prisms to generate mana or card advantage. And Azorius Kitty, you use Spreading Seas. So it's a 4-of. Next up is a Power T edition. He runs the full 4 reality assets. I think the other version runs 2 to 3, and then the extra in the sideboard. I think running the 4 is better in the long run, because it is a lot of the removal of the deck, a lot of the control element of the deck, so you really need them. And then 1 Una's Grace, just for late game when you don't need to play any more lands. If if you notice, because there's no counters or anything like that, you can really max out at like 6 lands. And if you're playing Chanceries and you're getting those into play early game, you really don't need, you can burn a lot of your extra lands. So that's it for the non-land aspect of the deck. So next up is lands. I'm going to run through the basics first. So we have 6 islands. 6 islands. Island. Everybody knows island. Everybody loves island. It's island. 2 plains. Not very many plains. We have 3 Azorius Chanceries. Not bad. 2 Terramorphics, just in case. We have 2 Crossroads. The original deck list runs 4 Crossroads, but my compromise was I would run 2 Crossroads and I would run 4 Tranquil Coves. These only gain you 1 life, but they do fix mana for you. I think that's a little more effective. And then I think that in tandem with the 2 Crossroads, you're going to get your value's worth. Even though you're only gaining 1 life instead of 2, having the fixing really helps. And I think you still want a couple of Crossroads just to get ahead just a little bit more if you need to. So. And that's it for the main deck. Sideboard, 1 more Lone Missionary, just in case you need it for a really quick aggro burn deck, or maybe like a stompy deck. He blocks and gains you that 4 life. So 1 core Sanctifiers. This is kind of a remnant in the deck, but it's good against Oubliette and that type of thing. One thing real quick, we're using online ban list plus Hymn to Turok and paper rarity. So you're gonna see a card here that's an uncommon online, but I'm playing it just because I have it, basically. So 2 Hydroblasts and 1 Blue Elemental Blast. That's the uncommon online. It is common in paper though. So it's basically, I mean, effectively the same thing. I could probably find another Hydroblast. I just didn't feel like looking through my boxes anymore. Next up is some removal. A couple of reprisals for big things like Ulamog's Crushers, that type of thing. And then a couple Last Breaths for Gary's. Super effective against Gary. 1 Energy Flux. I just happen to have 1, and I know it's super effective against artifacts, so Affinity. Watch out, Affinity. 3 Holy Lights for any sort of creature control, like token control or anything I need. And then 2 Deep Analysis. Always good against like a control deck. Having extra actual card draw is always a good thing. So, and that's it. That's Azorius Kitty. So I mean, the basic principle is play Spreading Seas, play Reality Acid, bounce, get rid of their permanents with the Reality Acids, control their lands with the Spreading Seas, draw extra cards with the Spreading Seas, set up your hand with the Ponders and the Preordains. It's a super grindy deck. I don't like it quite as much as Boros Kitty, so that'll probably be the next deck that I get. I have Lightning Bolt's super expensive, and for some strange reason, I think I sold all of my Lightning Bolts for like $2. So I need to get those back. But I think I'm like 12 cards out, and those 12 cards represent like $14 or something like that. So the paper pricing is so strange in comparison to online pricing, but that is just how the economy works. But that's it for this video, and thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for watching. please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter at MagicGathStrat, Facebook /MagicGatheringStrat, or on the web, magicgatheringstrat.com. There you can find articles and free prize-supported leagues. This is all brought to you by our Patreons and cardhoarder.com. If you enjoy this content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/MagicGatheringStrat.